sanctuary, and we're here to take a nature walk, see what we can see, and also listen to the number of different birds we have. Now, I'm set up at a really beautiful spot here where we can see the birds at the feeder, and I'm going to just zoom us in on a tui. They're being quite aggressive at the moment, chasing each other around. They're a generally black bird with beautiful iridescent blue on their wings. They also have neat little white bow ties of feathers that you'll see. Now, what I'm hoping today is to share this little nature outing with you so that we all get a chance to kind of appreciate the outdoors in our own way. And hopefully, we're going to see some really neat native birds. I'll just zoom out all the way so you can see this whole space. While you're looking at this space, notice the different activity that's going on. So you'll see some chasing and definitely some calls. But I think it's generally when you're outdoors really good to just keep in mind the different ways that you can pay attention to things. So you might use your different senses, for example. Right now, mostly using my eyes to see what the activity is. A lot of chasing. If you've never been to New Zealand or don't know much about our birds here, many of them are nectar feeders, like hummingbirds in North America. And that means that these bottles that they've put out here are filled with sugar water to give them the energy they want here in winter. And why the feeders are here is because this whole area that we're in has been a reclaimed eco sanctuary. It's been fenced off to protect all of these local birds from non-native predators. So there's a big fence around it, and that's given them a chance to lay eggs and not be eaten by these stoats and rats and other predators that exist outside the fences. What this means for us is that we have a beautiful little view into the New Zealand forest that once was. And I'm hoping to take us on a little bit of a walk. So, I propose we move up the track a little ways and see what we can see, because this is one of my favorite places, and they put a lot of work into protecting our native birds here. If you're tuning in, let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm curious what the forests are like in your area and what you do to get outside. This is one of my favorite places here where I live, because it gives me a chance to just get outside and get a breath of fresh air, really. I'll show you where we're walking, and you can tell me what you see. One of the first things that stood out to me when I came to Aotearoa, New Zealand, was how many ferns there were, and hopefully you're seeing that along the side of the trail here. We've got lots of ferns. There's a tree fern here. You've got little ferns in the underbrush. You've got even kind of strange leafed ferns. Look at this. Pretty sure this is a fern. So where I grew up, there weren't nearly as many ferns in our understory. It was a lot drier. I grew up in Washington State, on the east side of Washington State, where it's more inland and dry. So we would have ferns, but not the density that we get here. I mean, there's even ferns climbing up tree trunks. Just to give you an idea of just how ferny Aotearoa is. So as we walk, keep your eye out on the different shapes, take in the forest a little bit, and definitely we'll keep our ears open. Because one of the tricks to finding birds, or finding any wildlife really, is to hearing it first. If you're listening, you'll often get clues to the wildlife that's around you long before you get a chance to see it. Of course, I'm going to say that, and the forest is going to be super silent right now. Though there's a really high-pitched cheep that you might be able to hear. That's one of our smallest birds. Titiponamu. It's a little teeny bird called a rifleman. And if I have a chance, I'll try and show it to you. But right now, they're high up in the canopy. So what I can see are little fluff balls fluttering and silhouetted against the gray, cloudy sky. I don't really have an angle to show them to you. Now I'm walking carefully and quietly through this part because earlier there was one of our forest parrots, the kaka, and it was down on the ground picking up nuts and berries from between the gravel. So I'm gonna move carefully and hopefully, let me know if you can, but hopefully you can hear the bird song now. And we have our first little friend on the trail. Did you see that little bird come into view as we were walking? That is a kakaruai. It is called a New Zealand robin, kakaruai. And they work the leaf litter trying to find bugs, and often will come to our feet. Though this one seems a bit busy. Above us we have korimako, a green bird calling in the treetops. And at a distance I can make out just a few tui calls. So I've been really excited to bring you all out on walks with me. Those of you who check out my channel know that I like to make videos about nature. And they're really just there to help inspire you. I want to hear about your adventures and hopefully bring you along on some of mine. And I couldn't think of a better way of doing that than being able to actually live stream a nature walk with you. So that's what we're doing now. And we are following the tui track at Orokonui Eco Sanctuary. Again, a fantastic location where they've actually managed to predator-proof a forest in order to give the native birds a chance to recover. They're a really fantastic team, a really passionate team. And in this forest they have here, you can find kiwi, the flightless bird of New Zealand. We're able to find takahe, which are a stunningly beautiful blue, purple, green flightless bird that lives in alpine grassland area. They have a big beak, and what I find really fun to watch about them is they'll they'll pick things up with their feet and work on them. We probably won't see any in today's stream, but maybe another time. What else is in here? The Titi Ponamu, those riflemen that we heard a moment ago, and the Kakaruai, they're kaka, a regrowing population of kaka. Those are the forest parrots. Now, if you're outside of Aotearoa, you may have heard of kia. Kia are another parrot that live here, and they kia tend to live in more alpine regions. They also live in the forest, but they get a lot of publicity for tearing the rubber off people's cars. They can be quite playful and curious, and with that comes a degree of destruction. But yeah, the slightly lesser known relative are the kaka, and that's what we have a chance of seeing here today. In fact, while I've been walking around before this stream, I was treated to a few of them, so I know they are about. But like so many things in nature, we have to really practice appreciating what's here now. Because if we get hung up looking for specific things, we can miss the amazing moments that we receive. So taking that advice, I'm going to flip you back around so you can see where we're walking, because we are going past some older trees and a lot of ferns. When I take a breath in, again, just cycling through my senses, I smell kind of a damp mossiness. It's an earthy smell. And I encourage you, wherever you are right now, to stop and take a breath as well. Think about what it smells like where you are. It's a surprisingly tricky thing to answer, I find. I don't often think about describing the smells that I encounter. But yeah, I think a mossy, earthy smell is a good description of this right now. The air is cool but not cold. We are in winter down here. Using another sense, touch, that's where I get that sense of coolness from. The air is damp. I can feel just a little bit of moisture. Not building up on my skin like with fog, but just making the temperature feel that much cooler. So as we walk, we can think also about what we hear. Now I just heard a croak of a kaka, so there is one around. Probably more than one. I feel like I often find them in small groups. They are quite intelligent and playful. And with any luck, we'll come across some. While we're live, I'm going to take just a moment here to pause and look out through the forest track. In fact, take in this view. What I really want to do is I want to see if I can share this so we have a chance to chat together. Let's see if I can share. So we're looking out just at the forest here, and what I'm noticing as I look at that is just how many of the tree trunks have other plants growing up them. Something went wrong. Nope, we're good. Okay. So we're just going to pause here for a second and take in the forest. And then we'll continue walking. So like I said, oh, did you see the little bird? It dropped down low. We can hear the bird song. And of course, we can hear the road in the distance. So this gives you just a little bit of a taste of the forest. And one of the things I like, and that's that the forest has so many different layers happening with mosses and ferns and trees and vines growing up, trees and vines. It's got many, many layers to look for. But what I will do is bring us up to a map here, and we can take a quick look. So where we are right now, it's here. If we zoom out a little bit, we can see the main walking tracks, but the actual eco sanctuary is much larger than this. So we're just going to explore along the Tui and Kaka track as we walk around, as long as it doesn't rain too hard. We're starting to get a few drips here and there. So hopefully that won't cause us any problems. What I want to do is bring us up to this feeder here, because I'm hoping we're going to meet back up with some of the kaka playing in the trees. In the meantime, we can explore the track to see how the forest has opened up. A lot of the trunks are now tall, going up into a manuka forest. We have a dark kakaruai, New Zealand robin. Let's see if we can take a closer look. It's like it knew I zoomed in. So if you're watching, I'd love to hear where you're watching from and what the forest is like near you. Because this is very different from the forest that I grew up in Eastern Washington. And the bird life here is quite different as well. So what I want to know is, what are some of the things you see in your area, where you're from, and where you go to get outside? So I'm really lucky to have this forest park here, but you can find all sorts of things in your local park or even your backyard garden. And so if you're tuning in, let me know what you look for. Let me know what you find. I'd love to hear about it. Right now, I'm checking the canopy for any resting birds. We have a large kareru, a large pigeon, that hangs out here. We'll sit quietly and just watch you go by, but they can be quite fun and quite beautiful. Ooh, someone just buzzed us. Also noticing some damage, which I'm guessing is from our forest parrots, the kaka. And as we come up underneath of it, I'll flip around so you can see. So if we look at this tree, we'll see that some of the leaves have been stripped off and it's definitely been broken. My guess, in fact, there's another one. My guess is that the kaka have been through here just kind of playing, searching. They get their beaks into bark to try and find bugs, but they're also a large parrot, so they can be quite playful anyway. And if we're lucky, if we're very lucky, as we come up to this feeder, we'll get a chance to see some of them. Keeping my eyes and ears open. I encourage you to do the same. I can hear some of our smaller birds. So as we cross this bridge, let's just see what we come up across. We're not alone, so we'll be relatively quiet. Here we are. So there's one of the kaka above us. Got more of the kaka coming in. We'll just carry on so we don't disturb the people who are already there. How cool was that? I love getting a chance to watch the different birds in their just in their day-to-day lives. That was pretty cool. I'm pretty excited. Oh, we've got another one of our little kakaruai friends up here. Sometimes they'll come over and even peck at the laces on my boots. This one seems to have a plan already. Hmm. Well, I'm feeling pretty good about that adventure. Thanks to all you who tuned in to watch. I know we were enjoying that quite a bit. I was. I hope you enjoyed seeing some of those birds. Maybe in another stream, we will focus on some of the plants, or we can talk more about the different birds that we're seeing. Right now, I just wanted to give us a taste of what we can look forward to and encourage you all to go outside. You know, use your senses wherever you are. It works. You can be in the middle of a city. Sit for just a little bit. See what you can notice. It's in that noticing that you start teaching yourself to find different things in the outdoors. So I don't want to be too preachy on that one. I just want to encourage you to get outside and love the nature wherever you are. So take care. Have a good one. Again, I'm Jonas, and don't forget to keep curious. Bye-bye.